There seems to be a situation over the past week or two where they realize, somebody somewhere realized. I mean, and I think the hint is that this is coming from the Republican Party itself. Steve Scalise goes out and gets vaccinated, a week and a half ago. I mean, that seems a little bit late, buddy. But he goes and gets vaccinated, makes a big deal of it. And, or at least he claims that he gets vaccinated on that Sunday. I mean, maybe he got vaccinated a long time ago and it's just, it's time for me to deploy it. Who knows? But the point being that there does seem to be, and Shapiro did the same thing, there does seem to be some sense on the right that, like, hey, we're losing here. We're losing on the vaccine side and the COVID side. And maybe it's even that they're like a little bit worried that the infrastructure bill is going to go through. I mean, spending $4 trillion is a big deal. And I don't think that there's broad appreciation generally amongst the population of like the implications of that type of bill. This is going to be a big bill. A lot of people are going to get a lot of like material benefit. It's going to improve a lot of people's lives. And, I'm not saying it's the end all be all. Obviously I would like, my big golden chalice would be, to decommodify healthcare. But this is going to have a lot of impact on people. Universal pre-K, free community college option, universal daycare. I mean, there's going to be a lot of benefits, paid leave, and extension of the child tax credit. And I'm not convinced that, part of this whole sort of like depolarization is just this is some type of like, we need to sort of soften our image going into 2022, I think on some level. That's my sense.
Can I be like a little conspiratorial? Do you think that it's maybe perhaps with redistricting, who knows what's going to happen with redistricting, but it's like so tight that they're actually worried some people might die that actually might flip some districts where they might lose whatever potential path to a majority they might have. Is that a little kooky?
No, I just don't think that's what it is. I think it's more, I gotta think that it's more a function of they are nervous that there are maybe in swing districts, there are people that they thought would come home to the Republican Party. And those people are sort of still seeing like, this feels too Trumpy to me with the whole vaccine thing.
I feel like the Trumpism might be smaller than we think it is. They're much louder, but it is much, when it's not a general election, Trump can't carry midterms, in other words.
I just wonder how much this is affecting. I mean, the reason McConnell is, they want the economy to get back on track. I do think that, but I mean, you're not
think that's the
you
case.
You think they want it to tank for Biden. I think
absolutely.
I think they have faith that they can make gains in. Maybe you're right, but to me,
or take credit for it.
Their donor base consistently, they care about their portfolios and they count on
the Republicans are doing great.
Well, the stock market tanked as the Delta variant was.
Yeah, but it's going to go back up. I mean, it always does.
But I mean, of course it
doesn't matter. I think it was like
Democrats or Republicans are going to do.
They all are on board with that. They would rather the economy tank. There's no doubt in my mind with Biden in control. They don't have. This is more about they're speaking to voters who perceive them as being too Trumpy and too COVID denial-y. And because they have those Trump voters, they're worried. They are seeing their numbers. My guess is with suburban women again, it's something like that, just tanking because they're coming off as jackasses.
That's it.
And
you're right.
That's what I think it is, frankly. And I think they're starting to worry about like. I think they're starting to worry about the House. I think they're starting to worry about whatever numbers that they're looking at. They're looking at some internal polls that show that they're doing poorly. They have no problem with the economy sputtering and sputtering and sputtering, if they could get out there and start talking about how Joe Biden has destroyed the economy, they would be excited as hell about it.
Yeah,
Make
you're
no doubt
right.
about it.
Yeah, it pains me to say it, but you're right.
I'm
But
gonna like
as you
throw a
said-
wedge in here. I feel like I'm gonna agree with both of you and disagree with both of you. I think that there's a base of Trump voters that are not going to turn out without Trump on the ticket, without Trump in office, that they are not going to rely on because they're not traditional voters. They just don't turn out normally. And those are the wackiest of Trump voters. And then they're sitting there saying to themselves, okay, well, who do we think that we can basically rely on more? The anti-vax women, who we all know who those people are. They show up on our Facebook pages. We know who they are. We all have them in our communities. Love them. Great. They can be on the Democratic side or the Republican side. They're the moms who don't want to vax their kids, you know. Okay, great. They're going to get them no matter what. If they're likely Republican voters, they're not going to go to the Democratic side, as we know. And then there are those like Biden women, the ones that did show up for Biden that they need to bring back in. That's what I feel. I just feel like it's
Yes.
This base is not going to turn out that they think without having Trump on the ticket.
Right. I think they're just afraid that they're not going to have that sort of suburban ring of people on some level that they're coming off as too Trumpy for. And they're trying to split the difference. They're trying to keep those people who might turn out in, at a general election in the fold, but they're also trying, and this is the dilemma that I used to talk about with Michelle Bachmann when she did the Tea Party response to the State of the Union. CNN was covering it, and she was also doing a closed circuit for like the Tea Party Express or one of those groups. And so the CNN camera was over here, and she was talking into the Tea Party Express camera. She was talking to the Tea Party Express camera. It was right there. And the CNN camera is there. And so she's talking like this, just off camera. And the point is, you cannot speak to both of these groups simultaneously without looking wrong.
Well, that's just, I mean, right. Both in terms of metaphorically and literally how.
Well, literally, unless you're smart enough to split the feed of one camera instead of like actually setting up two cameras. Folks, there's more of what you've just saw where that came from. That's if you hit the subscribe and like button. Thank you. Really, thank you.